Hey, I'm Mike.
And I'm Ben.
And we are Smokey Boys Barbecue. So I bet you're wondering why it looks like we have a baking show.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing something a little bit different today.
Yeah.
Something neither of us have ever tried, and that's gonna be a smoked cheesecake.
Yeah, I've never baked a cheesecake. I've never done anything with cheesecake.
Yeah, besides eat it. I've done a lot of that.
Definitely done a lot of that.
But yeah, we're gonna do it on the smoker. We'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, so let's get smoking. Smokey Boys Barbecue is brought to you by Servview Home Pros, San Antonio's backyard experts. Let's get smoking. So since we're doing the cheesecake today, we're gonna be using a sweeter pellet by Smokin Pecan. They are natural pecan shells, and we're gonna be using the YS640 by Yoder today. It's very easy to use. We can turn this guy up to 300 degrees and maintain temperature very easily. So let's go and turn it on. You're gonna see the Fireboard logo pop up. You're gonna hit start. It's gonna start heating up, and then we're gonna turn the temp up to 300 degrees. Push go, and we're started up. With Smokin Pecan pellets, they are natural pecan shells. They burn extremely evenly and well, and then they also give a nice sweet flavor. So I'm looking forward to trying these, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this cheesecake tastes.
While Mike's got the grill heating up, let's get this cheesecake all set up. So we're gonna start off, we're gonna do the crust. So we're gonna take about 1.5 sleeves of the graham crackers, and we're gonna get a gallon Ziploc bag, and we're just gonna dump these right in there. The goal is to get really fine graham cracker crumbs. That's what's gonna be our crust, along with some butter and some brown sugar. So go ahead and seal this up. Leave a tiny little air hole, because as you're rolling it, it's gonna wanna push air out, and if it doesn't have anywhere to go, you're gonna explode the bag. So go ahead and get that, and then just start rolling. If you got a rolling pin, use that. If you got a hammer, use that. If you got your hands, use that. Again, you're going for really fine, almost powder. Now that we have these all broken up into a really fine, ground up kind of graham cracker powder, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna dump these straight into our mixing bowl. Next, we're gonna take some butter. We're gonna get about 5 tablespoons of butter. So you can chop this up into kind of smaller tabs of butter. Helps it mix a little better. And save this little bit, because we're gonna use that to grease the pan. Go ahead and drop those in, kind of spread them out so that it mixes in really well. And then the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put in 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Make sure the brown sugar is a little bit broken up. You don't want, big chunks in there. And now that we've got that all in there, we're gonna mix it up. You wanna go until the butter is blended in with the brown sugar and the graham crackers. That's really gonna give you kind of that smooth graham cracker crust that we're looking for. If you soften the butter up, that helps a lot. If you have it kind of straight out of the fridge, it's gonna be really hard to get it mixed in. You're gonna be doing this for a while. So we're gonna let that go, and then we're gonna press that into our pan. All right, this is all really well mixed together. You can see everything looks super clean. Everything's sort of incorporated together. There's no chunks of butter or anything like that. So we're gonna take our pan. We're gonna take the leftover butter that we just had, and we're just gonna rub this all over the pan. This is gonna help it come out once it cooks and once it chills. Or at least that's the idea. We'll see if it actually helps. Now that we've got the pan all greased, now we're gonna start pouring in our graham cracker crust. You wanna spread it out nice and evenly, and you may not use it all. We have a 9-inch pan here. Depending on what size you use, you may wanna go up a tiny bit or down a tiny bit. But basically just press it all to the edges. You want to try to get it as even as possible so that you don't have, bites when you're done where you're eating, a big thick piece of the crust. And then just push it down nice and tight. Work it all the way around the edges so that it really has a good even crust. And that's basically what you're looking for. So now that we got the crust all in place, everything's pressed down, now we're gonna start on the actual cheesecake filling. So we're gonna start off with 2.5 pounds of cream cheese. That's 5 of your blocks. The idea is gonna be that we're gonna mix these up so that they're nice and kind of fluffy. You don't want them to be quite as hard and dense as they come in the package. That's gonna give you that kind of velvety, creamy texture that you're gonna get in the actual cheesecake. Scrape as much as you can off of this. Again, like the butter, this is gonna be better if you've already let it soften. All right, so we got it all in there. We're gonna turn the mixer on, get it going, make a mess. You're gonna wanna do this on about medium because it is, kind of creamy. You don't want it to start spraying everywhere, but you don't wanna go too low. It's kind of thick, so you don't want it to get stuck in there. So we're gonna let this run for a minute or two just to kind of fluff everything up, and then we'll move on to the next step. And now that this is all kind of fluffy and evened out, we're gonna take sour cream. We're gonna put in 1/2 cup. Again, we're gonna let that roll, let it incorporate into the cream cheese, get it nice and mixed together, which only takes a second or two. You can keep kind of pushing it down, mixing it all together with a spatula. Just make sure it doesn't get caught in the actual blades like I just did. All right, that's all mixed together. So now we're gonna move on to sugar. This is just your standard sugar. We're gonna do 1/2 cup. Kind of spread that around the edges. And again, you're gonna add stuff one at a time here. Just let it keep incorporating. It's a good kind of way to let it all mix together before you add the next thing. That's gonna add, obviously, our sweetness, and then it's also gonna give it a little bit of that grainy, kind of sugary texture. Keep pushing it down off the edges, let it all mix together really well. All right, now that we're at that step, now we're gonna go to eggs. So you're gonna do 6 eggs. This is where it's gonna start to get a lot more liquidy. What do you think? Can I one-hand one? Perfect. That's where it's really gonna start to look like a mix. So it's really gonna start to get runny. It's start to get a lot more liquid. Let that really incorporate the cheesecake mix, the cream cheese, the sour cream, the sugar. Let it all really mix with the eggs. It's gonna start to turn a little bit more yellow because of the yolks. So let that go for probably a minute or two. And then also at this step, we can also throw in some vanilla. This recipe calls for, I think, a tablespoon. We're just gonna measure with our hearts. That seems good. I like vanilla, so do what you want. We're gonna let that all incorporate, and then we're gonna pour it into our crust. All right, this is really well incorporated. Everything looks pretty uniform. So we're gonna take our bowl. It's nice and liquidy. And we're gonna pour right into our pan that we have the crust in. There may be a few chunks of cream cheese left, but overall it's, you know, really well mixed together, looking really smooth. Grab our spatula. Scrape out all the extra. All right, that is good to go. We're gonna get this out to Mike and throw it on the grill, and then we're gonna cook it for about an hour and a half, and we'll see how it goes.
That's pretty.
So the Yoder's hitting 300 degrees and it's time to get this cheesecake on the grill. Something to remember is that we're using a graham cracker crust and we don't want that to burn in the smoker. We're gonna put it in a sheet pan. We're gonna kind of use this as a deflector plate, essentially. Deflecting some heat, using that water to deflect a little more heat so that that graham cracker crust doesn't burn. So let's go ahead and pour some water with Mitch's cup. And Ben's got this cheesecake all mixed up. I'm looking forward to seeing how smoky it gets, what kind of color it's gonna turn, and then just overall flavor. I wonder how much smoke is actually gonna be imparted on this. So let's go ahead and put this right on here. I'm gonna move it a little further away from the fire, and let's close it up. We're gonna let this cheesecake cook for roughly an hour and a half. We're waiting for it to hit 150 to 155. This is a big experiment. We haven't done cheesecake, so I'm looking forward to a couple of things. One, seeing how the color comes out. Two, seeing how this smoking pecan actually imparts flavor onto this cheesecake. Baking on smokers is something new. I don't think too many people do it, so we're looking forward to seeing what the results look like. All right, let's check the cheesecake. Perfect, we're at 155, so we just went a little over the 150 mark. We have been cooking for perfect time, an hour and a half. All right, so let's, oh wow. That color looks amazing. What we're gonna do now is set it aside and let it come down to room temperature. So once that happens, we're gonna put it in the fridge overnight, and we're gonna see you tomorrow for a tasting. We're back at the tasting table, and wow, you can cook a cheesecake in a smoker. It looks incredible. Ben, what did we do here?
Yeah, so it's been about 24 hours since we actually cooked.
Yeah.
You only have to chill it for 8 hours. We just had a busy day, so we're back here 24 hours later. This took about an hour and a half, almost exactly an hour and a half to cook.
Right.
About 20 to 25 bucks is what we're looking at for a price point on this, which is really not that bad. If you go buy a cheesecake in the store, it's probably not gonna taste as good, and it's definitely not gonna look as good.
All right, I can't wait any longer, dude. Let's dive
Right,
into
let's
it.
cut into this thing.
Yeah, it looks
I
incredible.
don't even know where to cut.
Just slice it to it, bro.
You want some strawberries?
Sure. You know I want some strawberries.
That is set up perfectly.
Oh man, let's check it out. Cheers,
do
bro.
it. Oh, I can't pick it up. I want to eat it. Cheers.
Dude, this looks amazing. Hang on.
That's really good.
Whoa.
You do get a little smoke. It's not a ton,
It's not overpowering at all.
but yeah, it's really good for a dessert. I don't think you want it to overpower the actual taste of the cheesecake.
That is absolutely delicious.
Yeah. You guys need to try this.
Absolutely try
You
it.
can put whatever you want on top too. We did strawberries and chocolate. You can do some, jams. You can do a whole berry kind of setup. Whatever you put on it, it's gonna be good, I promise.
I mean, that was an amazing cook. Thanks for joining us.
Check us out on Instagram, TikTok. We're posting videos pretty much every day. And if you guys make this or any of our other recipes, post some pictures and tag us just so we can see it.
We'd love to see everything that y'all are cooking up at home as
100%.
well. So until next week, keep the smoke rolling and the flavor flowing.
Time to eat all the rest of this.
Oh my God.